I'm Katie Wilson, though most people know me as Katie. At 27, I never thought I'd end up in the middle of my family's most shocking controversy. From a wealthy background, courtesy of my grandfather's vast company, I've always been the odd one out. My sister Heather was the star of the family, and I was simply the letdown. When Grandpa Lawrence died, I figured the will reading would be awkward, but I had no clue what was coming. If you're seeing this, drop a comment with your location. Give it a thumbs up and hit subscribe to find out how that day transformed my world. Living in Beacon Hill, one of Boston's richest areas, ought to have been ideal. Our family residence was a gorgeous 5-bedroom colonial house with an immaculate yard and a sight of the Charles River. On the surface, the Wilsons seemed to possess everything. My dad, Howard Wilson, was a well-known investment banker handling accounts for some of New England's richest clans. My mom, Diane Wilson, was a business lawyer focused on corporate mergers and buyouts. They formed the ideal dynamic duo, always dressed flawlessly, always uttering the perfect words at the appropriate gatherings. But the real foundation of our family's fortune stemmed from my grandfather, Lawrence Wilson. Grandpa Lawrence was a self-built entrepreneur who created Wilson Enterprises from scratch back in the 1960s. Beginning with one hardware shop, he grew into building projects, then property development, and eventually spread into multiple sectors, like tech and medical services. When I came along, Wilson Enterprises was a big name in Boston and had more than 2,000 employees. Right from childhood, I realized I stood apart from my relatives. As they chatted about investment returns and company takeovers during meals, I'd be doodling patterns on my napkin or fantasizing about museum shows. My sister, Heather, older by 4 years, was the ideal Wilson successor. She inherited our dad's knack for figures and our mom's keen logical thinking. At age 12, she could break down stock patterns and funding plans. Me? I could describe all about techniques from the Renaissance era or how colors affect emotions, subjects that prompted my parents to share concerned looks. Heather pursued the flawless path my parents designed for her. She went to Phillips Academy for secondary school, then Harvard for her undergrad in business, and after that Wharton for her master's in business administration. She started at Wilson Enterprises at 24 and advanced rapidly, reaching the role of strategic planning director by 30. She wed Bradley Thompson, whose dad was a colleague of our father's, in an extravagant ceremony spotlighted in Boston Magazine. Her entire existence was planned and carried out with accuracy. In contrast, I fought to carve out my spot in a household that prized monetary achievement over everything. I performed decently in academics, but my passions never matched my parents' hopes. When I declared my desire to pursue art history at university, my dad genuinely chuckled, assuming it was a prank. Once he saw I meant it, the letdown on his expression crushed me. "Art won't cover your expenses, Kathleen," he stated. "You have to be realistic. The planet doesn't favor idealists." In spite of their opposition, I joined NYU for art history, partly covered by a grant I'd earned through effort. My parents declined to cover my complete—
I can't tell you the full story in this short video. If you want to see the full story, the link is given below. Click on it to watch the full story.